Hi, Tim Elliott here, and I've got a question that I want you to think about. Can the stories you tell change the world? Can the stories you tell change the world? Purpose-driven entrepreneurs and founders like you need to communicate clearly, right? Whatever business or product or service you're in, whatever industry or market you're in, communication is, if not one of the most important skills that you need to do, especially if you're purpose driven, especially if you're doing something that's meaningful and impactful in the world. You need to be able to communicate so that it grabs people's attention. It stops them doom scrolling. You need to be able to educate people about why this thing matters to you and why they should care. You need to inspire action. What little change do you want to make in the world? What impact do you want to make? And what do people need to do for you to deliver that? And story gives us the tools to be effective communication. In fact, it's long been the most effective way of getting an idea to stick in the world. We've used it for hundreds of years, right? In fact, there's recently been scientific studies by official brain science people, brain scientists, whatever they're called, who knows. But there's been official studies that show when we're being communicated it through narrative, through story, the information that is packaged in that story or narrative impacts each part of our brain. So the logical, the emotional, and the somatic, so the physical. When we've watched a film or read a book or heard a story, right, we've all had goosebumps before, I'm sure, right? This is the somatic effect. Right, so it's scientifically proven to be the most effective way to communicate. But we've known that long before those fancy tests and brain scans have been able to prove it. Right? Story has been an effective way to persuade, to educate, to entertain since 300 BC. There was a guy called Aristotle who is an absolute genius, who first started to write and educate and speak and communicate professionally and understand the world of persuasion. And he gave us the ingredients of effective communication, right? All the way back in 300 BC. And they were ethos, logos, and pathos, which I'm pretty sure none of you speak ancient Greek, so I'll communicate into 2022 language. Trust, think, and feel. So where story comes in, right, to those foundational ingredients, to the things that make those effective, are by asking you these questions. Right? As a brand, right, as a founder, as a leader, as a new startup, a new company, it's kind of obvious that you need to make people trust you. Right? You need to develop trust. So what stories can you tell that make people trust you? What are the ingredients of trust that live in your brand that you need to amplify and make strategic and communicate? Is it credibility? Is it reviews? Is it stories of impact? Is it customer stories? How do you make people trust you? Is it science? Is it knowledge? Is it data? What stories can you tell that make people trust you? But we also, when we're trying to grow a business, when we're trying to get people to join us as customers, as teams, as whatever, we need to challenge the way people see the world, right? We need to kind of make people think. So what do you need to make people think about when they're faced with your brand? Are you challenging a perception of the status quo in their industry? Are you a new product or solution to market that is different from the ones that exist before? How are you going to get people to think that you are the better option? Right? How are you going to help them get over, or what do they need to hear? What stories do they need to hear from you to be able to choose you? What are the things they're considering that you can tell a story about, that you can communicate through the story, right? How are they, what's their decision-making process? What boxes are they looking to tick? And what stories can you tell to make people think that you can help them tick those boxes? And the most powerful one, and I think the one that is steeped in the historic effectiveness of communication, is feel. What stories can you tell that make people feel something? What do you want people to feel when they hear your proposition or come across your brand? Is it relieved? Is it excited? Is it challenged? Is it peace of mind? Is it relief? What emotions do you want to create? How do you communicate that you do that? What do they need to hear from you to feel that way? But these can't be just words, they need to be actions. The beauty of using story, right, and how it drives this change in the world is because a story acts like a map. It shows us the route, right? We need to tell stories of what it is, why we care, like the origin story of this thing. We need to tell stories for the people that show why this thing should matter to them, why they should care, why they should choose us. And we need to tell a story that paints a picture. What is it like with your idea adopted? What is it like as a customer or a subscriber of you? What is it like when they've had the value delivered from the promises that you make? What stories can you tell that make people feel something? What stories can you tell about the purposeful, meaningful, important work you do? See, it's all story. Everything is communication. If you understand the purpose that you have, and there's another video by me in this platform about that. If you understand your brand purpose, the impact, the change, the thing that you want to put out into the world, you have a responsibility to deliver that, to make it true. But how you get that understanding in other people, how you get other people to attach the right meaning to you and your offer, is through story. And with that, the stories you tell can make the change in the world that you want to see. So package all this meaning, all this important thing, all the things that make people trust you, the things you want people to think about, the things that you want people to feel in narrative, in story. And they become brilliant brand assets for you to communicate. Your marketing becomes super effective and story driven. You'll be able to communicate to investors, to potential employees, and to new customers, right? To new markets, to get people to come on this journey, to choose you. Because we know story is the most effective way to communicate. Aristotle told us. I know this is a short video and a big topic, And I can talk about effective communication and story all day, but we don't have all day. We have around 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave that here, and hopefully those questions have started you thinking. I'm super happy to take any questions or be contacted to help you develop that thinking further. Thank you.